And we're back
Quick on that one.
again. I know, right? Quick draw. Um, yeah, you know what I would love to do with this? I love for it to get somewhat big and then pick like a destination like Columbia Tools headquarters, right? And then just fucking make my way and drive and like stop in at different sites,
Uh-huh.
right? All the way across. I would fucking love that.
Yeah, that's what I've been always saying, like a what did I call it? A tour with my work buddies, like
Yeah.
just going and meeting all my buddies off Instagram that I've
That,
met over the years and just visiting their job sites, hanging out for a little while, moving
That'd,
on.
that'd be sick, man. Right?
Yeah.
After work, go have a big dinner and then come back and do a couple hour podcast.
Yeah.
I would love that.
hmm I've got so much content from my little trip to Albuquerque. It was 11 days, so I guess it wasn't a little trip. But so much of it that I haven't even gone through, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're busy, dude. Right? Like that's the
Yeah, it's not like I'm just sitting around on the couch. I'm doing podcasts and
right.
estimating jobs and doing jobs. It's real.
I'll be I'll be honest with you. When you got down there and then like Instagram didn't throw up that night, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Right. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, they're working down there. They're not hanging out. Yeah. I wasn't
Yep.
sure which way it was gonna go. If it was gonna be like a more of a hangout and be taught
I
or
wasn't sure going out there either how much hanging out we were going to do and how much he just threw me right on the job. It's like, well, here you
yeah.
go. Learn it. That the first few days I worked with Jack, the dude that works for him.
Mhm.
And Jack taught me a lot. He was really fun to work with. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Um,
That's wicked.
he's done a lot of Venetian plaster work and work with, I'm trying to think of what they call it. Um, there's another product out there that's kind of like Fresco, kind of like Venetian, but he incorporates all those different techniques and like, the
Mhm.
Venetian guys, they take those shorter strokes where when I was doing it, I was wanting to like finish the whole wall out in one stroke.
Yeah.
But just learning different techniques and seeing different ways that he would do it and then getting to see Nick do it too was huge.
Well, to me, I'm a visual learner, big time,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like I can see things on videos and stuff, but I mean, if somebody's in front of me showing me how to do something, I can pretty well pick that up. At least you understand how they're, you know, how's he starting every time? How's he pulling off? Like how wide are the strokes? Things like what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's and this isn't a thing here, right? I can't go and see it. You would literally have to go down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, except now he's coming to Canada.
Uh-huh. That's a big deal. I'm
I'm
excited for him.
really excited about that.
Have
Yeah.
you got any color packs yet? Have you got to mix up any mud? No?
No, not yet. No, I just want to get Christmas over with. And I got this house to wrap up, and then I'm going to put a big order out and just see, just like, and then pick because I'm not sure what I want to do either. I think I really like how the green looks. I really like how the light blue, dark blue looks.
Yeah.
And then like a black with a swirl of like maybe green or blue or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But I'm gonna make a couple of those. What do you call them? Like a samples, right?
Sample boards. Yeah,
Yeah,
sample
yeah,
boards.
yeah. And then just see if it
Oh, that
fucking
was
doesn't
awesome.
work out. I'll just do it again.
That
It'll
was
just
down
be
there
this thick.
in his shop. He's got every color that he offers, little buckets. And I got to mess with the sample boards for a day, just making any color that I wanted to. It was
That's
awesome.
sick.
Yeah, like you don't get to do that anywhere.
No, no, no. Go to the paint store. They're like, yeah, go nuts. Hmm. So when you learned how to do the troweling stuff, did say you kind of taught yourself?
No, I had a guy teach me that. The
Okay.
guy that I started with a guy, I didn't have a job. I had a job lined up on the barges working as a deckhand, but they never set a date for the interview and it never came through. So I
Mm-hmm.
went like a month without a job, and then a guy said, "Hey, you want to help me finish drywall?" I was like, "Sure, why not? I don't know
Does it
anything
pay
about
money?
drywall."
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a job, so yeah.
Yeah.
And I forget what he started me out at, like $10 an hour or something.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know anything about it. And first day he put that hawk and trowel in my hands, and I mean there's mud just running right down to my feet. Like I'm just standing in it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this.
It fell off again.
Can I try the stilts? I got up on the stilts, man. I was great on the stilts, like going up and down the steps, no problem. So,
Really?
typical helper. I was great for spotting screws.
Yep.
Spotted screws until, oh man, my fingers were blistered. And yeah, everything from there was learned. He had flat boxes,
Right.
but dude was in his mid-50s, late 50s.
Right.
So he was new to the tools and stubborn to learn them. He didn't want to take the time to learn them. He thought that he was faster hawk and trowel. So with that being said, he never taught me how to use them either.
Right. Because they're just so fucking useless, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're just a waste of time, waste of money. He should have never bought them in the first place.
these goddamn things. Yeah.
Yeah.
When Josh's comes out in January, he talks about that, where him and his uncle was the one that decided, like, we're going to buy this fucking set and we're going to rock and roll. And I don't think they tripled their output, but it was close. It's they do 2 houses at once.
Mm-hmm.
So they get 2 10,000 board foot houses, and then they tape them together.
Yeah.
And then they separate, do all the work, and then they sand them together if it makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. That's how Wes and I kind of did it for a while this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'm really good on the taper. He's not. He can run the taper. He's
Right.
just not fast with it.
Yeah.
So we would go and we'd tape one house, and I'd get him started finishing it. And then I'd go off and start taping another house by myself and start finishing it.
Nice.
And then we would usually team up to do angles, because I run the angle box. He touches up behind me.
Yep.
As a good leader would,
Oh, totally. Yeah. Well, and that's like, I can absolutely see where a second person comes in. You know what I mean? Having my uncle on this one, when I was running the taper and he was wiping behind, we flew through this house.
Yeah.
As opposed to go put it down, wipe it all off, come back, do all that shit.
A roller behind you and the angle head when you're doing angles.
That kills me, because you've got to run the auto taper, then do your roller, then come back with an angle head. Like, I got a bucket of water I'm fucking leaving everything in. Obviously not the auto taper, but I mean, it's just like crap. If you just had one more person.
Yeah, and especially when you're not that quick with the auto taper, because you'll get those long runs where that angle tape's starting to drag on you when you get back to it with the roller. Then you're fixing crinkles.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the days where it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're running the bazooka and you're like, I'm putting this thing down and I'm going home.
Mm-hmm. And we're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. About the second room that we were in, he took to that roller and I guess I did the angle head, but doing the roller so quickly, right? Mm-hmm. And then we get about the third room in, and he's like, oh, and it's like sideways on the wall, flat, like not at all in the angle. He's just like, I'm not sure what happened there. I'm like, I know exactly what happened there. Slow down. Yeah, the crinkles are brutal, man. So your mud consistency is like soup, right? It's like, yeah.
I've got to take, like, if I'm taping angles, I've got to take mud out of the bucket before I start adding water, or it's going to be overrunning.
Yeah. No shit, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I try and do the sponge thing, because it's the only way to kind of keep it consistent, in my opinion, right? But yeah, like I'll put 3 in and then whip it all up, and typically I'm adding more from there, like 4 or 5, depending. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like,
I was always hesitant to add a lot of water at first. I was worried about the mud down too much and maybe like, changing the glue consistency or something. I don't know what I was scared of.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've learned, just don't be afraid to add water to that mud.
Yeah. Well, or fucking put more mud in it. Mix it again. Yeah, you can fix it.
Yeah, if you set it down too much, you can fix it.
I thought. Sorry, go ahead.
Have you seen the Rip It plugs for like the pumps?
Of course, that's what I. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I leave mine in, in the
water,
mud.
yeah.
And then I've got the plug for the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as like transfer mud pumps from job to job, I love that boot for the bottom too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the filler nozzle boot plug,
Every
whatever you
day.
call it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is only. I used to take a towel and like wrap it around, get it wet before I'd leave, wrap it around there.
I was like, so Eugene is showing me everything. And I'm like, the fuck is this? And he's like, you put that on there so you don't have to clean it. I was like, how much is it? Oh, okay. It's like $20 or something.
Yeah, why hasn't anybody thought of that sooner?
Right? I was like, he's like, there's one for the bottom too. And I was like, nah.
But where I was going with that is
Yeah.
that's the sponge. Rip It makes a sponge for the back of the bazooka. And that's the
Oh,
sponge that I use.
okay.
So
What do
and
you
that's
mean
like,
for the bazooka?
like you put it in the end of the bazooka, like say you're putting your bazooka in water overnight,
Yeah.
leaving it on the
Yeah.
top. You put it in the back of the bazooka so that your tube doesn't dry up.
Oh, shit.
And another thing I've learned, I forget who posted the video, but is to spray oil in the back of that before you pump mud. And it allows your plunger to slide so much easier.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I see that.
So
That makes
that was
sense.
one part that I never oiled before that I started oiling, and I actually like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you always spray the head down good.
Yeah. Anything moving, right? What are you using?
I use WD-40, but it's silicone based.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's better on the seals. I guess regular WD-40 will tear up the
Yeah. It
seals.
dries them out. Yeah.
But I haven't had any issues with the silicone.
That's effectively what everyone says is just a silicone spray. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's well, I don't even remember what it's called.
I think Tape Tech makes bazooka oil. Is that what you're thinking of?
No. I get this from Canadian Tire. It's just spray silicone.
Okay.
I think it's like red writing on a white can. I don't know. I'll have to look.
Huh.
I wonder if that other shit is different.
What about the Graco? Have you got a chance to use it yet? The Power Fill?
No.
Man, I feel like once I get that, I'm gonna be spoiled.
Right. Yeah, so I kind of picked up all this stuff off of what Brad was doing, and then when he finished that huge site, he went and got a continuous flow system, and he put out some like major numbers after that. Like I don't want to say it was like a kiddie pool, but it was like an enormous vat of you know what it was? It was a DeWalt job box, and he was mixing his mud up in there, and then he was sticking that continuous flow in it. But like once I did a little bit of research on that, I'm like, so you just go all day or whatever,
Yeah,
fucking
that
3 hours or whatever. Yeah.
runs off like the Mark V, doesn't it?
That's exactly what it does. Yeah. And then you've got a handle with a box on it. Just go.
Yeah,
That's
I've always
wild.
been like just to run one of those, but I couldn't. I'm sure it has its place, you know, in commercial work or
Enormous commercial work. Yeah. Yeah, well, because how else are you going to do it? If you're up on a lift, like you're going to come down to pump mud, or are you going to put the mud up on the lift with you?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But no, I was talking about the pump, the power pump.
No, I haven't. No, I looked at the price point on that. I walked in there with the attitude that I was buying that, and then I was like, oh, okay, no, we don't tape that much. Have you?
No, I haven't got to mess with
it. Okay, yeah.
On Instagram with
it looks sick, man. Just wow, done. And it's nice up here, right? I don't have to bend over.
That's what I love about the tall boys not having to bend over anymore. That pump is amazing. Like I never thought. Okay, I only use it for. I've got 3 pumps. So I've got one I've got 2 short ones, 1 tall boy. My 1 short one stays gooseneck. It's just taping pump.
Right.
My other 2, my tall boy and the other short one, both stay finishing mud. And but the tall boy for finishing mud is great. I don't think I'd want to just have 1 pump with it because it's got so much mud in it to change it. Because I use 2 different types of mud to tape and to finish. I don't know if you do.
No,
but I do. We use all-purpose to tape and then like a lightweight finishing mud to finish.
Like a final skim kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
a bed. Our tape coat's just with all-purpose.
Okay. And that's shrinkage, right? That seems to be
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm picking up off of
mhm.
all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's shrinkage out of it
Hmm.
and better glue. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah, the all-purpose has a lot more glue in it, is what I hear. I mean, I'm
Right.
talking to a guy that's only been doing it for 5 years. I'm still learning as well, but
Th-
uh,
That was one of those things that I reached out to Brad about. I'm like, I noticed you got a few different boxes of mud in that box of empties. Do you want to talk? You want to talk to me about that? And he was like, "That's none of your fucking business." So I was like, "Oh, great, that's
yeah,
nice."
I went out to Albuquerque and Nick's like, yeah, we're mixing up all-purpose, and he dropped off USG +3, and I'm like, back home we don't call this all-purpose, we call this like finishing mud.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't even realize that they could like people considered +3 all-purpose. Um,
I don't know if I'm late to the game or it's not available up here. Josh was the first person I ever heard talk about that.
really?
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before. It's
What
like
mud?
a finer. We have CGC. Um,
Which is that
and
machine mud?
they've got like
I've been
red,
curious that
green,
machine. I see people
yellow.
running that machine mud. It looks interesting.
That's what I run in the boxes is that yellow machine mud, and it's sick. Um, the all-purpose comes in a big jug. Now, and I like that because of the buckets, right? You take a couple scoops out of it, add your water, whip it up. Right, it's simple to me.
Mhm.
I like throwing out buckets, apparently. But if they're gross, fucking throw it in the garbage and just they're fucking $3.
Uh-huh.
Or they're free if your mud comes in it. And what else do we have? Certainteed. That's the other one. And I was using that up until the other stuff started coming in the bucket. I
Uh-huh.
When Certainteed has that bucket, there's no other options. It's just this is it. With CGC, they've got all the other options, right? So why wouldn't I? You feel more specific, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it
No,
says machine mud on it.
yeah, I'd rather have choices.
Hmm.
I've worked with different types of mud before, and some of them just they run different. They all do.
Hmm.
Some of them run easier out of the boxes than others, and you find out what you like and you stick with it.
Totally. Yeah. And if
Uh,
anyone were to ask me the differences or anything, I couldn't tell you.
no,
Um,
I did work with some of that lightweight taping mud. I ran some
mhm.
of it through the bazooka, thinking that it would be great for being lighter,
Yeah.
and I didn't care for it. The mud seemed fluffier, if that makes sense, like foamy. Uh,
Yeah.
Whenever I'd go to close you tighten your cable up before you unlatch the I don't know if you call it the lid on the bazooka.
Yeah. Like the door.
The door,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Uh,
know if that's what it's called either, but
that makes more sense than the lid.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
anyway, but you would have to wind it up, and as soon as it would, like it would spit a bunch of that taping mud, and I was getting blisters. So I didn't care for the lightweight taping mud,
Hmm.
the bazooka.
Yeah. I think at this point, it's just you see something different in a video and you're like, hmm. And then you just start trying shit to figure it out, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super fortunate that I when I'm taping, I'm typically taping because I enjoy it. It's like
I love
especially
it.
now,
Yeah.
it's um it's so enjoyable.
There were days that I didn't enjoy going to work, but those days were the days that I was working for builders that wanted things done right now. They
Yeah,
didn't care what it looked like.
yeah.
Now I'm at a point where I show up and I tell you when I'm going to be done,
Mhm.
and I know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
That's where we should be. There shouldn't be pressure on people you've got to work, the whole weekend to get this job done so that I hit my bonus. It's
If somebody tells me to do my best, that means I'm taking all this shit down and redoing it because your board is fucked and or the framing's fucked underneath. Do you want me to do my best or do you want me to do it quickly? They're not the same. You know what I mean? For you to fix things and for you to like blast out a bunch of work, you can't have both. Now, I'm sure some guys can, but I mean, not from me. Like if you want the 1,000% quality, it's going to take the time that it takes.
Mhm.
And I would much
It should.
rather sacrifice the time free to make it perfect than to rush something out. I just don't feel it. So any of that kind of shit where people are poking at you for timeline, no thank you. I make it super clear at the beginning. I put a lot of fluff time in my schedules when I do that, but when things blow up in your face, they go, well, how much extra time is this going to take? Nothing. Like we account for things going wrong when I build a schedule. It's simple.
Yep.
But that comes from running large sites too, right? Where things blow up in people's faces. It just is what it is. I would so much rather give somebody something a week early than a day late.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing like asking for extra time on a job.
Especially if you've been confident.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're doing a lot more of your own stuff.
Yeah, I'm picking up a lot more of my own work. And it's not even that I went out looking for it. It's like it just came to me. And it gets where it's like that. Like people have just, because there's no advertising. It's all word of mouth. People are hearing about me and referring me, that's how I'm getting my jobs now. So that's great. Because usually 90% of those jobs you've got before you even go and bid, because the customers already knows that you do good work. And then, when you show up and you show them that you've got a social media page where people are watching you do your work and you're turning out your best and you're proud of your work, that's a huge help that I found. So yeah, I've been, like I said, I've not really even been advertising, but more work's coming my way, and it's been great.
Yeah, but you're putting your head down and hustling.
For sure,
and,
yeah.
and you're just putting it out. Yeah. You're putting it out there, right? And people see that. Yeah. Absolutely. And builders talk. It's not a big community in the people that are hiring.
No.
Excuse me. Yeah, and I see that too, man. Now that I'm getting a little closer into that, like running things, major projects, if somebody brings up the name of a company, somebody will wince. And you'll go, what was that? And they're like, don't do that. It's or like that's the guy. You know what I mean? That's it's one or the other. And if nobody knows who you are, everybody's like, well, I guess we'll see. It's when you've got my social media, in my opinion, is a resume.
Yeah.
Like, go look. Right. those cabanas were in House and Garden magazine or whatever the fuck it was, House and Home. And that was our third project last year.
Yeah.
There is quality there if you want that. There's also speed there if you want that, because we've got those posts too, right? Right. Yeah,
I think the biggest thing going into a job is having the confidence when you go to bid the job, knowing that you know what you're doing, and you don't just start out with that. You've got to bid 10 jobs, 20 jobs, and work your way up to that. Like now, when I go into the job, I know I've got my system. I know how to talk to the homeowner, what I need to get out of them. And then, I go through and do all my measurements. I've got my prints typically before I show up. I go get my measurements, get what I need to get out of there. I can get them the price typically that night, if not within the week. It depends on what kind of week I'm having.
So you're just doing a board foot price? Is that like essentially? Yeah. And do you do like inside and outside angles accounting into it, or is it just a strictly board foot price?
It's a strictly board foot price.
Yeah. Okay. I talked to a couple of guys this year that
I do have extras for like window wraps. If the windows wrap,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Or detail, certain small details, high ceiling, you add extra for.
Yeah.
But no, there's pretty low standard board foot price.
Yeah, and I feel like that standard price, I'm way higher than that. I just it is what it is, but I take more time.
Yeah.
Right. It's
you're getting what you pay for.
Yeah, and it's also just me, and I'm not in and out of there. There are companies that you can call and they'll tape a fucking house in 3 days. And the first coat's 90 everywhere. You know what I mean? Somebody's kind of putting corner beads on, and you got a million people running around and no one knows what anyone else did, so there's
Yep.
no finger pointing, right? It is what it is. But those guys typically tape for like 40 cents or 50 cents or something. So absolutely, if this is just like something that you don't want to look at, give her.
Yeah. If you don't care what it looks like in the
Yeah.
end, call someone else.
Yeah, but don't look at it. Yeah, exactly. Because that's not me at all.
No.
Um,
You get a job, call me. I'll come do it right.
yeah, and a lot of the stuff that we quoted last year, I got calls on like 3 weeks into it. They're like, "Hey, are you still available?" No, no, because you've kicked off a guy that did a shit board job and doesn't know how to tape, but it's halfway done, and I'll come and fix it. I don't think so. How'd you get in with Columbia?
I think I kind of messaged them a little bit back when they were doing the brand ambassador program.
Yeah, okay.
That was before I was like even doing any posts, and I was like, how do I get my foot in the door? Like, well, you just got to keep grinding, keep posting, show us that you're using our tools. And so I did. And I'd kind of like given up on, like, at that point, I was just making content for me. Like, I wasn't making it for them.
Yeah.
And they messaged me, they reached out to me. It was like doing the mud pump month. And just like everything, and just like getting on the first podcast. Oh my God. You get all excited about it. And then you got people messaging, they're like, "Yeah, are you like a brand ambassador for him?" I'm like, "No, dude, there's no title here."
Yeah, but they're not doing that anymore.
No.
I had that conversation this year because my cousin and I sat down and he was like, "How the fuck do you get on it? Like, how is there anything else more? Like, how is there more?" And I reached out and just asked, like, is it like a follower thing? Is it like you've got to be 100% taping all the time? Or she's like, "Oh, we don't do that anymore. Like, if you don't think you're a brand ambassador, what the fuck do you think you're doing?" So you're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, right?" It's I found that I was doing all of that for me. I remember posting stories and no one watching them. Like my mom would watch them or whatever. And I feel when you said that you were making your content for you, I resonate with that because I think that's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Is they want you just naturally working, and those are the people that aren't going to lie about things. If somebody
you feel like you're getting an honest review, it's not paid.
yeah.
Paid content.
Yeah, the first time that they reshared something of mine, I took a screenshot and sent it to like everyone I knew. I was so proud of myself.
Dude, I remember they did the one year they did like 40 days of giveaways. I think
Shit.
last year. Last one was a Predator, and dude, I'd entered every day for 40 days, hadn't won. Came down to the last giveaway. It's a Predator. And at this point, like I had just bought my Predator like 6 months prior. And
Nice.
I was out on a job site with no service, and I get home, I'm sitting there eating dinner, and I get the notification. Columbia Tools sent you a message. You want a Predator. And I'm sitting there, my hands go up like, what?
Like you won the lottery. Yeah.
Like I won the lottery. I mean, really, when you're starting out as a taper and you win like a $1,500 tool,
oh my God,
it is like hitting the lottery,
The first month that I was a part of last year was Angleheads, and she was like, "Which one do you think you want?" And I was like, "Well, I'll take the 3.5 because I've got the other two flushers, so I'll be able to do flusher, and then a real good last coat with the Anglehead." Yeah, when I opened that box and there was all three and a bunch of other shit in there, I did a backflip.
I know.
I was just like, "This is nuts."
After I did Mud Pump Month with them, she messaged me and she's like, "Well, is there any other tools of ours that you'd like to work with?" And I've got, like I said, I've got everything except for the corner cobra. And I was like, well, I've never worked with a compound tube, but I think it'd be really nice for putting on corner bead with. And then she messaged me back and she's like, well, what if we just sent you the whole commando set? I'm like, the whole command? What? Ask for a compound tube and get a whole commando set?
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They're, I don't know if they're really generous or they're really good at foreshadowing. You know what I mean? Because like,
I think about it like this, man. When you like giving stuff away is in a way is kind of like a boomerang, man. When you give stuff out,
yeah.
it's going to eventually resonate and come back in a bigger gift. So them giving out little tools like this and making us feel like as good as we do.
Well, I'm loyal to the core now.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Yep.
It's going to pay off. It's a small investment. That's how I always label them. Like those little freebie jobs that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they might suck right now, but it's not a freebie. It's gonna come back around. You've got to give a little bit out to get to receive.
That's where I get like I did 2 jobs this past couple of months for free, and one of them was a little 2-room basement, and one of them was my cousin's bathroom, and I get so much content on those.
Oh yeah, it's
because people are like, holy shit, you're gonna do this for
like,
free? Like
the information that you learn from it, the content that you got out of it.
Yeah, when I asked, like, what do you want me to do with this tomahawk set, right? Because she was like, I don't know, just see what you can do with it. So I started doing crazy shit, like I'm putting it on with one and wiping it with the other. Like I don't know, but what do we do with it? But I also got pretty good with them. Like there is a legitimate place for that in the set, and they're perfect.
7-inches. I can't tell you how many 7-inch blades I've went through wiping tape down.
Yeah.
It stays on the tomahawk. It's always
that's literally I don't if I spin that fucking thing off, if anything. It doesn't come off of there.
No.
Yeah, it's I had the 7-inch before. But the other ones are wicked. Yeah,
I originally bought the 7-inch thinking I'd want to wipe tape with it, and it's a little bit. I mean, it can be done, but it's different than holding a knife. It's just not the same. But for wiping sealing tape, there is nothing like it.
Yeah, once it's on that pole, you're like, oh, this is what it's for. I get it. Yeah. I had it on my matrix handles before, and then I had the brake, and I thought, I was like, oh, look at this. And then when they sent that tomahawk with this set, I was like, this thing's mint, because I set it like this, so like I'm kind of
Oh yeah.
He's like, I know.
Yeah, you get that blade into where it's looking like this from wiping tape down eventually.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well, this was excellent.
Yeah, man, we got plenty of content to choose from. You've got plenty of
totally. I don't edit this at all. This is all going. Oh yeah. No. That's why I'm like the Drywall Podcast younger, trashier brother. It's like he's doing this great job, and I'm just like getting drunk with people. I don't know. Actually, we got a pretty good lineup coming up. The tile chick, she's coming on. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go through who's going to be on. But there's some pretty exciting ones coming down the pipe. When we get off, I'll let you know. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay. You got any shout outs? What do you want to do?
Hi mom. No, I don't got anybody.
Perfect. Yeah, good. What are you on TikTok and everything else? Do you got a YouTube?
Nah, I'm kind of on YouTube. I've got like 2 posts on there. I'm trying to get into that. Trying to get on YouTube and trying to get back into Facebook. I'm just on Instagram and TikTok at the moment. It's man Cam.
Yeah.
That's K.
With a K. So, why is that?
I was telling Nick this story. Like when I was 18, I was aspiring to be a bodybuilder. Like I was really into
that makes sense.
Believe it or not. But the whole like competition, like I don't know, the whole diet thing. I've never really been good at diet, so never really struck me. But anyway, there was another guy in my area, and his handlebar at the time was your boy Samuel Troy. And my brother was like, shoot, when you're done messing around with your boy Samuel Troy, come over here to It's Your Man Cam. And it's just kind of stuck since, man.
It's sick. I love it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It flows good. But you try and tell like older people that, and they're like, Itsy
man. Who the this guy rap? Yeah. Yeah, well, and once I read it correctly, I think actually I heard Nick say it, and I was like, oh, Makes sense.
Yeah, he says it with a little Rastafari tone to it.
Mhm.
Yaman Khan.
Right.
I
Yaman.
like it.
Awesome. Well, good, man. It was a pleasure. We'll have
Yeah,
to do
man,
this
was
again
awesome.
for
Ooh, we didn't
sure.
even have a pre-phone call to this. This is first talk ever.
Yeah, yo, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. Yeah, I've been excited for this one.
Yes. Great, man.
Yeah, keep up everything, man. You're doing real good. That content's real good. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I watch it all. I gotta get liking shit more. I don't do that. Yeah, it's just like I'm gonna start slamming it. Everybody's gonna be like, stop it.
Stories, man.
What's that?
You're always reacting to my stories.
Oh, totally. Yeah, because
Right,
you gotta start doing it. Yeah, because I just like ingesting stuff. I always feel like I'm bothering people. You know what I mean? But that's not the case. It's the community, right? So I'm gonna start doing a little more of that. Yeah, man. Well, that's mint. Okay, we'll send her off. Be humble, treat everyone the same, and do your fucking job.